Okay. All right. Hi. Thanks, Kim, again for coming to this conversation. Please introduce yourself, your name, where you were born, when you immigrated to Canada, and how old are you now?
Oh, wow. My name is Kim Villafuerte, and I was born in Quezon City, Philippines. I came here when I was about 11, June 1994. I'm currently 40 years old, so that's about it.
Very young. Do you remember? Okay, you came here when you were 11 years old. Do you remember your first few months in Canada? Please describe them to us. Your routine, your experiences, your feelings and thoughts.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I remember coming here and I was so excited. Um, so when I first came here, it was it was exciting for the first few months. I was trying to adjust. Um, in the Philippines, I obviously went to a private school, a private Catholic school. So I was used to a uniform school. So when I first came here, I was a little bit shocked that I wasn't going to a private school because there's a difference between public and private school, although they're technically the same. And so I was a little bummed out about it because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get the best education because I'm not in a private school. But my mom's like, okay, you know what? It's fine. It's a Catholic school. They just don't wear uniforms. So I was like grade seven or grade seven turning grade eight. And it was a difficult transition because I was a little scared. English is obviously, a second language. Although you actually know how to speak English, it just wasn't practice. So I was a little quiet because I was trying to observe. I'm trying to listen to pronunciation. I was trying to observe the people around me. And the school that I went to is predominantly white, um, uh, community. So I was the only Filipino in in my class. And so they even actually took me to ESL class because I wasn't speaking. But after a few months, I adjusted pretty well. I was able to make new friends. Still scared though, because you're trying to adjust to a whole bunch of other things. Back home, my parents were okay. I wouldn't say they were like in terms of their lifestyle. So my mom didn't really know how to cook. So we have yayas, or what you call nannies. So I grew up with nanny having somebody to cook for me. Somebody had to take me to school and so forth. So coming here, I didn't have any of those. So I had to prepare for myself. My mom actually cooks hot dog, egg, and rice, and that's about it. The first 2 years, that was my life because my mom was trying to figure out how to cook, how to make food, and mac and cheese, spaghetti. It was very easy. It's one of those you just put it in the oven and whatever. So it's pretty hard. Um, my mom was trying to look for a job because she was, in the Philippines again, we have our own business. She didn't work for anybody else. It was difficult because again, she doesn't know how to cook. She doesn't know how to work for somebody else. She's used to like telling people what to do. And now she couldn't find a job. Her first job was obviously a dog sitter. And she's like, I didn't even know how to go home. And a lot of things it was like a love and hate relationship with this country. One of the reasons is like when you have everything and all of a sudden was taken away from you was a little bit difficult for me. She couldn't provide me the things that I need. We had to go through Salvation Army and buy me some clothes. And that's totally fine. I cried about it. I'm probably still going to cry about it now. um, and it was okay. And my mom's like, anak, pasensya na kasi hindi ko maibigay sa'yo ang dati mong, the things that you were used to. And you just gotta have to accept it. And so, yeah, that was my feelings about it. It was a love and hate. Um, but eventually I moved on and I am very thankful for the experience. And there's a lot more stories to it.
Right. you were 11 years old. You were in that transition yourself, right? From being like a child to a teenager, moving to a new country, and you just described all these experiences that you had. What would you say helped you through it the most, or many other things that helped you cope?
I think I tried to make myself busy. I was one and only child, so I tried to um be active. So I was doing a lot of volunteerism. So at the age of 12, I did a lot of like kids help on student ambassador stuff. So that was like my go-to every Sunday. Um, so I was a student ambassador for Kids Help On. So we did a lot of like organizing like events for fundraising. I did Canadian Blind Institute as well. So I did volunteerism as a child, like I wouldn't say child, around 12 or 13. And one of the reasons why is it wasn't because my mom pushed me, it was because I wanted to help out. I wanted to feel like not alone and that I'm contributing to the community. I was also a member of well, not a member, but my one of my mom's friend actually invited me to one of the Filipino entertainment groups, as you may have probably known. Yes, the Filipina dance troupe. So that's one. I didn't really kind of pursue it, but that was something that I, kind of wanting to belong in the Filipino community. So a lot of the things that I did to cope up with with the things feeling lonely was just to kind of do a lot of volunteerism.
That's great. That's great. Did you, by any chance, go to any settlement organization helping newcomers in Canada?
Um, no, I think my mom and I was young. I think my mom didn't know how to navigate it. That's one of the reason why. And a lot of the reasons why I was able to do a lot of volunteerism is because it's through school. The school was providing us resources. We didn't know any of those Filipino community when we first came to Canada. So a lot of our the way how we the way my mom did it was through friends and helping out just kababayans like here. Oh, I have this place, I have this couch, I have this work. And it's really just relying on your community. And we're really thankful for those kind of people that kind of helped us during that time.
Right. Kim, what would you say you had gained from these volunteer activities, from joining all these many activities?
Oh, I'm so thankful, and I've gained a lot of things actually. It's one thing that I'm very passionate about and advocating like the younger generation is because through volunteerism, I've gained a lot of experience. I've gained communication skills, I've gained organization skills, time management skills. By the time I was ready to work, I've gained that experience. I've gained experience to organize an event, to organize fundraising community. I was able to gain confidence speaking to people. So it does offer a lot. Your your perception on other things are also different. I'm more empathetic. Like when I did volunteerism with Canadian Blind Institute, you're able to figure out how to navigate them when they're walking. I've also done uh, sign languages. I still know some sign languages, so it does give you an edge of being able to communicate with other people.
That's great. I also want to learn ASL actually. That's on
Yes.
my to-do list. Yeah. Okay. So fast forward 3 decades and you're now here and you're obviously well suited, well placed. Tell us about your profession. What do you do now as a profession and how did you get there?
Okay, so I am currently a licensed paralegal. I own my own firm. I been in the industry for the last 19 years. I started when I was 21, right after college. Um, I started as a reception, I started as a legal assistant, I started as a law clerk, I started as an in-house paralegal. After I had my children, I decided that I wanted to be a mom, and at the same time, I wanted to continue my career. So I opened up my own firm and I just went on my own. I took a stab. I decided to open my firm in 2014. So I have been practicing for quite some time on my own. And COVID hit 2020. So a lot of like my files were kind of standing. There was no movement because of COVID. And it kind of put me down a little bit because I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do, because when you're self-employed, that's all what you rely on. And I I took a stab. I said, you know what? What do I wanted to do? I mean, really, truly, I wanted to become a lawyer. And it's just the only reason I didn't get there is because obviously financial at the time with my parents, well, with my mom, it was financial difficulty of getting me to university. And so when I went to college, I paid for my school. So while I'm in school, I was working as well. And then I had my family, and then I kind of got established, and I got comfortable doing what I was doing. And then COVID hit, I decided to pursue it. So I'm currently full-time in school at Osgoode Law School, York University, pursuing my law degree. So I started in September. Um, yeah, here I am. I'm a student and I still have my firm. Obviously, I can't close it down because I can't tell my clients that I can continue their case because I'm going back to school. So I'm juggling two things at the same time. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. It's hard, but I'm trying my best.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Kim. In terms of, did you have to study a specific like program course to be a paralegal, or?
Yes. So few years ago, prior to the whole law society requirements, when I took them in when I was 21, it was called court tribunal agent. So it was a diploma, and we didn't need to be licensed with the law society. Over the years, in 2008, 2009, law society kicked in and says all paralegals are now to be licensed. So I just have to take a couple of courses because I was already in the field. And I just took a couple of courses to just get licensed, and that's about it.
Okay. And you mentioned that you had to work to pay for your studies by yourself. Did you also have, or did you also tap other resources like scholarships, etc.? Or how did that work for you in terms of financing your
Um,
education?
Again, it was, so my mom was a single parent the entire time. So it was hard for her to kind of navigate a lot of these things. So a lot of what I had to do for myself, I had to navigate on my own without any help. So I didn't know that there was OSAP. My mom didn't have an RSP as well. So I didn't have any of those. So I actually just end up paying on my own, like semester by semester. When I finally found out that there was OSAP, I was almost done with my school. So then when I reached when that was done, and I realized, oh my God, there are other resources that was able to help me out, but it wasn't too late because I'm using that now, right? But during that time, I was too young. I was 18, 19, trying to navigate how to get into college. I mean, there was resources in like in school, in high school, but then like even with that, they come home with a piece of paper, and my parents were like, well, not my parents, my mom was like, I don't know how to fill it out, and I just fill out as much as I can, and that's about it.
Right, right. But congratulations, you made it, you know.
I
Um,
did.
right. And okay, but tell us, what does a paralegal actually do?
A paralegal, so there's a difference between a paralegal and a lawyer. So there are different sorts of scope of practice. As a paralegal, you mainly, there's areas where you can handle at a limited scope, not a limited, at that scope of practice, such as small claims. So claims that disputes that are within the 35,000 jurisdiction. Anything above that, it goes into a superior court, and which means a lawyer can handle it. So in a short way of saying it, paralegal does landlord tenant, anything administrative law. provincial offenses, which is traffic tickets, municipal bylaws. When I mean by municipal bylaws are like noise control or like parking on city. Provincial offenses ticket are traffic tickets, speeding tickets, and all of those, stopping the red light. Landlord tenant rent arrears, payment, rent arrears payments, anything that has to do with landlord and tenant issue. Human rights violation as well, like human rights laws, so employment law, discrimination, human rights. Small claims, again, like I said, disputes, litigation, somebody owes you money, contract breach, all of those areas they can help you at a smaller scale. The only thing that they cannot touch is a family law, real estate, and Wilson estates. Those areas of law are areas that needs to be supervised. If you are touching them as a paralegal, that needs to be supervised by a lawyer, and only lawyer can do those files because there's a lot of threshold in those in those areas of law.
Amazing, amazing. And now you're studying to be a lawyer. So tell us about your horizon. Like you haven't stopped studying, you have 4 children, you have your own firm. Tell us, what are you looking at? What is over there in the horizon?
It was difficult to get into law school. Let me tell you that. I cried when I actually got in. Out of 4,000 applications in university, not university, Osgoode, when I decided to get into law school, I had to prepare for the LSAT. And it was scary because I wasn't applying as a student at 21 years old. I'm applying as a student at 40 years old. So imagine that gap. Imagine that, like, what can I offer the school at 40 years old? And to top it off, I did have an undergrad, but I didn't finish so when I did my paralegal diploma, I also went and taken business administration at Ryerson. But I didn't finish that because I was able to manage my career. So I just took like about a year for my undergrad. I didn't finish the whole undergrad degree for BBA. So here I am. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to apply to Osgoode because I only have a year of university because they actually prefer a degree, a full out degree. A diploma doesn't count, right? So my whole application was based on like my whole 19 years of experience in the legal industry. Was it good enough? No, it wasn't good enough because I actually it wasn't denied. It wasn't denied. I wasn't refused, but I was put on a waiting list. So imagine that time. I'm like on a waiting list and I'm like, oh my God, did I get in? And I cried because I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not good enough because I couldn't even make it. And my spouse, my husband was like, Kim, you don't know who you're against with, which is true. We don't know. Somebody could be volunteering in Timbuktu and here you are thinking you're changing the world, but it's not enough, right? So did it stop me from reapplying? It did actually. But my daughter who's going to be 14 years old, she goes, Mom, so much for preaching, because I was always preaching to her saying, try and try. You don't give up. Just because they say no doesn't necessarily mean it's a closed door for you. No, you're going to have to try again. So she remembers that. And so she's like, Mom, it's not closed door. They didn't deny you. They just put you on a waiting list. So why are you not trying again? So that gave me like the strength to kind of say, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. And so I tried it again for the second time. And quite frankly, there's only 2 schools that I wanted to go to because it wasn't practical for me to apply for other law school because of the fact that I have a family. Would I have an opportunity if I didn't have a family? I could have gone somewhere else far because probably the probability of getting into that law school is a lot higher. But I'm competing with the best out of the best. So it was an Osgoode Law School. And so I had interviews at Osgoode as to why I want to get into law school. I think I did pretty well. I had an LSAT score. I think I did pretty well. And it was just a matter of like, am I going to get in or not? And I totally forgot about it because it was the first time I applied, I was on a waiting list and it gave me a lot of anxiety. The second time I applied again, I totally forgot because an opportunity came in front of me, which is basically teaching at Humber and Centennial. So I was like, it took a lot of my time. I wasn't thinking about my application because I was teaching. And then there goes my application and says, you got accepted. I actually didn't know what to do because you would think you would be happy. I was happy at the same time. I was like, what am I going to do? I have 4 children. I'll have a firm and I'm teaching. What am I going to do? But you know what? I did it and I'm still doing it. And I'm just thankful. That's all what I can say. I'm very thankful for all the blessings.
Congratulations, Kim. A well-deserved, amazing, amazing journey. Very inspiring indeed. What do you like most about what you do?
As a paralegal or thing like, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
About your profession, like I guess the legal industry. What do you like most about it?
What I like the most about it is I'm able to help out person in terms of whatever scenario they got themselves into. Um, I know for a lot of people, and I'm hearing this in law school, when people or professors ask them, why do you want to get into law school? Or why do you want to become a lawyer? And a lot of people would ask to make money. Truly, to me, and no word of a lie, you have to love what you do. It's not about the money. When you love what you do and when you help out people and the satisfaction of like just them being thankful to you, it's twice the blessings for me. Twice the blessings for me. When I first started my profession, I was doing a lot of pro bono, a lot of freebies. My husband used to say, well, how are we going to feed our kids if you keep doing pro bono? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That is still me. Don't worry about it. Something's going to happen. And every time I help out one person, it's a referral from another referral, another referral. It was twice the blessing. And I'm very thankful for those people that just continued to kind of support me throughout my journey. And that's why I love what I do, is because I'm able to make changes. And that's what I wanted to do. It's not because of the money. I like to make change. I like to help people because I know when we first came to Canada, we didn't have that help. We didn't have that resources. And I want to be able to kind of give back in a way, whatever resources or whatever knowledge I have. Even with teaching, I never would have thought I would love teach because I can't teach my children. But teaching, teaching what I know and what I love is a lot better because I'm able to kind of pass on the knowledge.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What do you like the least about it?
It's a very stressful job because people, even though you're trying your best in the legal industry, people would still like to hope that you're going to win their case. And the thing is, whether you hire me or you hire like a top-notch lawyer, a top-notch so-and-so, it all comes down to like the law, the rules. And it all comes down to the judge, whether or not, you presented your case very well. If you have good argumentative reason, even if you don't, are you able to persuade that, what I'm going to provide in terms of the verdict would be beneficial to the public. So it's stressful in a way, in that sense, where client would always call you. My phone is like nonstop and just asking like, when is it over? When am I going to get the trial? What's the result? Or so forth. But you just have to be patient and just learn how to manage your time. Because if you are consumed with stress, honestly, in today's society, everybody has anxiety. I have one. Everybody has stress. You need to step back, breathe, and be able to be present. So what I do is, because I also don't want to consume too much stress in my life because I have kids around me, I would shut off my phone. There's a rule: after 5 or after 6, I'll try not to pick up, but because I'm used to like responding back, I'll still. But if it's something that can be it can wait, then it will have to wait.
Right, right. Kim, you've gone so far and you're not done because you're still reaching new heights, no? What was the greatest challenge that you experienced, in getting to where you are right now, and how did you overcome it?
The greatest challenge. I find that the greatest challenge is time. Time. Um, Time is the greatest challenge for me. It's because, you wanted to do so many things. I wanted to do so many things, but there's time for it, right? So I find that's a little bit hard to kind of work around, but it's manageable. You just gotta be disciplined about your time, making sure that you focus yourself to achieving your goals. So I used to think that I should be, by the time I'm 30 or whatever, I should be this and this and this. No, that wasn't the plan. Everybody has a different plan in their life. There's no such thing as you have to be married at certain age, you have to have kids and family at certain. I'm doing it the other way around. The reason being is I'd had my kids at 27. Oh, this is so much personal, but that's fine. At 27, and I realized that I want to be a mom. I want to be there. I want to be present. Now that the kids are no longer, they still need me, but it's not like they're independent, I would say. Um, and now I'm doing the other way. So there's no such thing as you have to be at a certain time. Just focus on you, focus on achieving your goals. And right now, that's what I'm doing. It's hard to actually say this because I am still consumed with like, oh my God, I'm gonna be 50 soon, which is still far. But I'm just saying, it's still a mentality that it's still there. It's hard. It's hard to not be consumed by it, but you just gotta move that aside and say, I have a different timeline. And that's the challenge that you have. It's just taking this part of your brain and part of people, the society that dictates you to be this and this and that. You just need to concentrate on you and not listen to other people. That's about it.
Excellent, excellent thought. Share with us your thoughts on fulfillment and success. What is success for you? How do you measure it, and how do you define fulfillment and success?
Fulfillment and success. Success to me is when you're happy, when you're content in life. Success doesn't have to be with money. Success doesn't have to be with fame. Success to me, I've already achieved success. Being blessed by family, being blessed with supportive parents, family, friends, that is success to me, because without those people around me, I wouldn't be able to continue. There are friends around you that would continue to support you, and that's a number one thing. I hold on to that. I hold on to family and saying, kaya mo yan. You just have 2 more years, kaya mo yan. I have friends that would say, oh, you need somebody to take the kids to, practice or whatever the case. Maybe they would come and help. I have my mom saying, oh, okay, just leave the kids here and do your, exam or whatever the case may be. Honestly, to me, the love and support is a success thing, because without that, you won't be able to kind of move on. And that's success, and that's fulfillment for me. Just having supportive partner. Like, for example, like right now, my husband is probably doing 60% of, things that I should be doing. For example, when I'm on my test, he would be doing all the things, like from cooking to taking care of the kids, because there's a lot of readings that I have to do or whatever the case may be. So it's partnership, it's communication, it's all of those comes into success.
That's amazing, and I agree. What is your advice to young people wanting to pursue this profession?
I think No, it's not, I think. I really truly believe that you should be able to, you may not figure it out right away because nobody knows what they wanted to do. Like for it's different. Like I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I fell in love with the career as a young age. Like I wanted to always become a lawyer. And if you decided that you wanted to be in the same field as I am, just really align yourself and, partying will be done afterwards, right? But like if you focus on your school and you focus on like trying to volunteer because you gain a lot from volunteerism, um and focus on like enhancing yourself um in terms of communication skills, public speaking skills, or time management. All of those tiny little courses will help you be able to be successful in achieving, one step at a time, because it takes a lot to get there. I didn't It wasn't handed to me. The career wasn't, hey, here's the degree. It wasn't handed to me. I had to work for it. I had to work hard for it, and I'm still working hard for it because in law school there was probably less than 10 Filipinos out of 4,000 applications. There's only 290 that got into law school. In my school, in one class, there's two Filipinos, and it made me even more kind of hungry right now and say, you know what, I'm going to pursue this because we need representation. We need representation in the community. We need representation in the community to speak for our community, to speak the needs of our community, somebody that can speak the language. And embrace your culture. When I first came here, I wasn't embracing it because I wanted to belong in the community. I wanted to belong and not speak the language. Now I'm embracing it more. So I try to, speak a lot more Tagalog than before, and embrace that because it's a part of who you are. It makes you different, and um it makes you a better person in a way because you're owning who you are.
Thank you so much, Kim. Excellent advice. And to be honest, I learned a lot today.